You have now taken the red pill. It may feel overwhelming. You may feel betrayed, and you may feel lied to and manipulated. Just know that it's okay, because I was there too. I was lied to, I was manipulated, and I was used, and I was abused. And what is the red pill? The red pill is finding out, after however long you've been in Amway. For me, for example, it's been 6 years, of finding out that a business that you were in, an environment that you were in, that you were told that this is a legitimate opportunity, a really good opportunity, an opportunity to become free. They would say that a lot, and by free, they're talking about financial freedom, building financial independence. And they would say that's the true American dream. It's not having a job and having a wife and having 2.5 kids and a dog. No, it's having your own business and creating financial independence and not serving another man or woman at a job, but having your own business and being able to control your own time and not have to use your time to go actively work at a job for income, because you have your own passive income making money for you, and so time is on your hands. So you get indoctrinated to all of that, and you believe that with all your heart and soul. And the red pill you take, and you find out that was all a lie. What you were in was actually a fixed system where 98% of people are designed to fail, and based off of those failures, 2-3% make a profit. That's how it works. It's a fixed system. You can't change it. And so it's all a lie. And you're in a system where they tell you, trust them. Don't go on Reddit. Don't go on the internet. Don't go on blogs. Don't go and do your own in-depth research, PDFs, studies, whatever. Just trust them. And the reason they say that is because they use the analogy of, if you wanted to build your own sandwich franchise, let's just say Firehouse Subs, and you have a multi-million-dollar businessman who owns a Firehouse Subs franchise, and he's willing to sit down with you and teach you how to do the same thing, which is what you want to do, build your own sandwich franchise. Would you go to that person because he's willing to sit down with you and tell you how it works, eye to eye? Or would you trust, a close friend or a family member that's telling you don't trust it, it seems too good to be true? Or like, would you go on the internet and do your own research and see, this industry seems a little bit risky to invest in, or would you go with the one that has experience, that's sitting right in front of you, willing to sit down with you and teach you how to do it? And that's a good analogy where, okay, you're talking to someone that actually has succeeded, and so they can help you. And they'll use that and make sure that you don't do your own research on Amway. And so you never find the truth, and you never hear stories like mine and try and silence my voice and other people like me, and you ignore legitimate research such as the facts I gave, about the history of Amway, the statistics. You ignore all that because you develop a biased mindset because you only trust the people that are teaching you versus thinking for yourself and doing your own research because they really program you to trust them wholeheartedly. And so really the blue pill is believing that Amway is a legitimate opportunity and that it's not a pyramid scheme. And there's a lot of people that are on the internet saying all these negative things because they have either quit or they're just people that are trying to sell their own multi-level marketing company opportunity, or they're just people that hate success and hate capitalism and free enterprise. Maybe they're anti commerce, whatever. That's the blue pill. And so now you've just taken the red pill and found out the truth that this is a scam. This is what we do. This show is called Unplug, where we free the minds of the people that have been enslaved and indoctrinated by the establishment of the multi-level marketing industry, the network marketing industry. In particular, we speak against the lies and the fallacies of Amway and LTD. I am your host, TJ Misumi, and you have now just taken the red pill. In our last episode, we went over the history of Amway, of how it started, how it has been able to sustain itself for years. We've talked a little bit about how really it is a pyramid scheme, truly, even though it claims not to be, and how a lot of people lose money. And we didn't really scratch the surface yet. There's some things that we really need to dive into. So we needed to take more of the red pill, so to speak. Continuing on, some other fallacies that Amway does, at least the meetings that I went to, they will use the franchise model as an example of, or just like the franchise model, a legitimate model, and how they'll use McDonald's, of how McDonald's, for example, has a supply base. I forgot the supply base where they get their food from. It's a food company. I think it's Whole Foods or something like that, but they get their supplies from a food company. We'll just say Whole Foods. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Whole Foods, I think. That's their supply base, right? And they'll draw this out too. In particularly the info sessions, the ones that take place once a week. So you have a supply base, and then separate from that, you have a tools based. And the tools base for McDonald's is Hamburger University. It's a real thing, trust me. It's a university called Hamburger University. That's where people that have built a franchise or are learning how to build their McDonald's franchise, they have to go to the school and get a certificate or degree from this school in order to learn how to franchise and build their McDonald's business. They have to go to it and pass. So that's their school. That's where they learn how to build their franchise. So you have a tools business where it's teaching you how to build your McDonald's franchise. And then you have a supply base where you get your food from, your burgers, your buns, ketchup, all that there. And it goes to your store, your individual McDonald's store, right? And then with this opportunity, you have an opportunity to franchise and have partners, so to speak, own their own McDonald's stores, and you can franchise that, and you can go big, right? And I use that as an example, where like Amway, in this opportunity, you are a business owner, and in this analogy, comparatively speaking, you have your own supply base called the Amway Corporation, and you basically have your own website, and your own website is a supply base where you buy your protein bars, protein shakes, energy drinks, your basic commodities, and you convert your shopping of where you would normally go at, such as, if you normally go to Target, normally go to Hy-Vee, wherever you go grocery shopping, you're going to transfer all that income that you would spend anyway and just spend it on your supply base, your Amway business website, and just transfer that money that you would spend, there to here, your own website, okay? And then you have the tools business, where LTD is where you learn how to build your Amway business, and that's where you have conferences, that's where you have info sessions, team meetings that I have described before on the show, and then you have apps. You have an app to buy podcast episodes to listen to learn how to build your business. You can also purchase self-help books from this tools business as well. So they compare that, and so you're basically franchising yourself, where you can find other people like you that are like-minded and want to build their own business and just have their own Amway website and build their own Amway teams like yourself, and this can grow big. So again, here's the lie and the distinction here. Amway, they're going to tell you that this opportunity is unlimited, where you can build this business as big as you want. You can grow as big as you want. There are no limits. Amway is not going to limit you on how many people that you can recruit. You can build it as big as you want. Doesn't matter. You can say any big number you want. There is no limit. You can build this for years and years and years if you want to, and build it continuously. McDonald's caps you, right? And they're honest, where you can only build it so big and so far. All right, and then also with McDonald's, like I said again, they actually have a market. With this franchise, they have customers coming into each of these stores, customers that are not a part of the McDonald's franchise. They have nothing to do with McDonald's. They're just customers wanting to get their burgers, their Big Macs, their milkshakes. That's what they want. So you can call them outsiders. They're the external market. So they actually have customers, and that's where the revenue is made. It's having customers come to each individual store worldwide, buying, burgers, shakes, whatever. The external market is people that have nothing to do with being a McDonald's franchisee. They're just customers wanting to get their food. And those customers are putting their money to these stores, and that's where the income is made. They actually have an external market. They have commercials on TV, ads everywhere promoting McDonald's, right? Amway is different. You don't see any Amway products on TV. You don't see any of them on ads. So no one knows these products. No one knows what, for example, Amway has energy drinks called Excess. No one knows what Excess energy drinks are. They don't recognize them. That's an example. There's a lot of products that people don't know about from Amway because they don't put their products, in promotion. They're not on TV. They're not on ads. No. How they do that is they use word of mouth, which is the distributors. We can call them Amway franchisees if you want. But the people that are legally classified as distributors, sole proprietors, they're the ones that are doing word of mouth. And yes, you are encouraged within Amway to have your own customers. There is a requirement to have at least 50 points as I I've described before what PV is. You're required to at least have 50 PV customers, people that are non-Amway, but you need to have like an outside customer buying products, and it needs to at least be 50 PV legally. But the majority of the money is made through having distributors sign up, get their own websites, and buy products from their websites. That's where the main income is made. So like, there is no market with Amway where they have like a consumer market of people that are not in Amway buying products from Amway. The market, how they're able to flourish and be debt-free, billion-dollar business, is having the distributors, buy the products from Amway. And maybe like a fraction of that is from people that are not in Amway, have nothing to do with Amway, and they're just, customers. But it's just a very small fraction. The true income where Amway gets their money from is the distributors, people that are in Amway, people that have, that are legally classified as distributors, sole proprietors that are in Amway. They're buying the products. So that's a lot of distributors. That's a lot of people that are in Amway buying the products from their own websites, and that's where the income is made. So like, McDonald's actually has an external market. Amway doesn't really have an external market. Their market, where they get their money from, is their internal market, which is no market at all. It's just the distributors that are in it buying the products. So that's the main difference between the franchise model and then like what they try and conflate the two and make it like it's the same, but it's not the same. The same thing goes with the music industry. They'll use like how Dr. Dre has his own record label, and he recruited Eminem, and then Eminem recruited 50 Cent, and they're all part of the same label. And actually, Eminem made more money than Dr. Dre, because I think Eminem either sold more albums or did something, whatever. But I mean, Eminem has made more money than Dr. Dre, right? But he's below him because Dr. Dre recruited him in his record label. And actually, 50 Cent, the one that was recruited by Eminem, he actually made more money than Eminem because 50 Cent had vitamin water. If you guys remember that, he sponsored vitamin water. And so he actually made more money than Eminem because of the vitamin water sales, right? So 50 Cent was able to make more money and create more value for that record label that they're all part of, which is Dr. Dre's record label, right? So they'll use that as an example where, like, hey, Eminem is below Dr. Dre, but he made more money than Dr. Dre. That's not a pyramid, and it's a franchise model because they have the opportunity to recruit other artists to be a part of the same label, right? Like a franchise, right? But here's the thing, though. They have a market, an external market, and it's people that want to go out to the stores. Back then, they want to go out to the stores and buy CDs, and play it in their cars, in their house. They want to buy Get Rich or Die Trying. They want to buy Eminem's 8 Mile. You know what I mean? They actually have customers that have nothing to do with the record label itself, but they just want to listen to the music. So that's the external market, and that's where the majority of the money is made, from the customers wanting to buy these albums, these songs, right? And it doesn't have that. It doesn't have an external market. You don't see, like with Get Rich or Die Trying, being, like for example, Get Rich or Die Trying, that album was, advertised on TV, put on ads, hey, buy this album, right? And Amway doesn't have that. They're not putting their stuff on TV, not on ads. No one knows what these products are. They're not promoted. The internal market, the distributors that are in Amway are the market, but it's not a real market. It's just people that are in it, buying it. And it's a lot of people. It's a lot of distributors. It's a lot of recruiters. And they're all buying the products. So all the money is just staying there, and it's then flowing up. And the people that are, at the top, the top recruiters, that's where the majority of the money is getting made. So it's different than like all these other examples where you have these different kinds of franchise examples, like McDonald's, record labels. They're gonna push that on you and and make you think it's the same thing, but it's not. And I really need to get this out there where, like I said again, multi-level marketing. For example, they make you think that there's different kinds of levels, but really there is no. There is no promotions. You don't get promoted. They're just pin markers, of how many people that you've recruited. Like for example, I stated there's platinum, emerald, diamond, gold, for example, like stuff like that. And I think it was in episode 1 where I explained all that, right? But those are just pin markers of how many people that you have recruited over time and how much PV that you've had over time. They're just markers. They're not like different levels of promotions. You're not like a manager now that's all of a sudden becoming an executive manager, for example, or an assistant manager going to the head manager, for example. Like, it's not like that. There's no promotions. It's just different markers. And market, for example, multi-level marketing. I'm breaking down multi-level marketing. So market, so multi-level marketing, different levels. There's no different levels here as far as like different promotions. You're not getting promoted. Like a level, like you're not being promoted. There's no like assistant manager. They're just markers of how much people you've recruited. PV. Okay, marketing. There is no market. You're the market if you're an Amway, the distributor. The outside people. It's only like a fraction of them because you're required to have like a 50 PV, as I said before, points per volume of customers that are not in Amway, but you have to have some customers, at least 50 points. But the majority of the money is made from the people that are in Amway, that are distributors, having our websites, getting signed up, and then buying the products for Amway. It's how Amway is making the money. The majority of it, significantly, heavily significantly, is from the distributors. That's the market, but it's not a real market. It's an internal market. It's not externalized, where they're promoting their stuff to people that have nothing to do with Amway, but they're just customers. It's not that. It's all internalized, and it's all flowing up towards the top distributors, the top recruiters. I hope that makes sense. So that's just a fallacy that I wanted to break down and destroy, because they have used that on me and a lot of people from my experience of using the franchise model, these traditional models that we see, Dunkin' Donuts, Burger King, McDonald's, and record labels, as examples of like, hey, we're the same thing. We're just, instead of franchising, artists, instead of franchising restaurants, we're franchising people, to have their own websites, to have their own business. But it's not the same thing. Different rules, different game, and and like I said, the franchise model is legitimate. Here, Amway is not legitimate at all. It's not a legitimate business, and you're not designed to win. You're designed to fail. And if you do succeed, it's because you have other people below you failing. And by failing, I mean financial loss. So that's what I mean when I say Amway is not a real business. It is a corporation. They do make money. When I say it's not a real business, it's not a real legitimate opportunity for, the masses of people to become wealthy, where all you have to do is help other people become wealthy and then you become wealthy. That's the lie. And that's what Amway preaches. And that's what I mean when I say Amway is not a real business, because they say that that's why they are a business, because they help people become financially independent, wealthy, and you only succeed if others succeed. That's not real. That's a lie. So that's what I mean when I say Amway is not a real business. I'm not saying that they don't make money. Of course they do. It's a billion-dollar company. It's a corporation. It's all over the world. I'm saying they're not what they say they are in terms of being an opportunity for the masses of people to become financially independent. And it's not meant for where, you only succeed if others succeed. It's others have to financially be at a loss below you that you recruit in order for you to financially succeed. That's how it works. I wanted to break that down. I hope that made sense. So that's why you'll hear me say, so-called opportunity, so-called business, because it's really not an opportunity. It's a fixed system where you really are designed to fail. And so here are some things that I wanted to go over as well. So if you get an Amway, if you get, into the meetings that I went to, which was through LTD, so, you're going to hear, for example, I'm going to say his name, Kevin Schreers. If you're in the Ankeny area, you may go to an info session locally here in Ankeny, Iowa. And he runs that meeting. And like I said before in a previous episode, they have multiple meetings all over the U.S. and they have multiple of them here in Iowa. One local meeting is in Ankeny, and that's ran by Kevin Schreers. He was an Emerald when I was in business, and eventually he went Diamond, I believe, in 2021. So, if you went to his info sessions, he, as a presenter, would say, and then, not just him, but many other people, but I'm going to use him as an example, because he was also one of the people that would say things such as, this is the only opportunity in the world to become wealthy. The only one. You heard me correctly. He would say, this is the only opportunity to become wealthy. The only opportunity to become financially independent. And then he would say, this is the number one opportunity in the world to create financial independence, financial freedom. So they say all these claims like that, where like, hey, this is the number one opportunity, and then this is the only opportunity. If you think about it, who's willing to teach you how to create financial independence for yourself? No one. We're the only opportunity out there. When the reality is, we live in a world where there's lots of opportunities for people to become wealthy. It's not. So that's just one lie where I just want to break down where they say, hey, we're the only opportunity in the world to become financially independent. That's a lie. It's not the only opportunity to become financially independent. I'm not here to promote anything. I'm just here letting you know that if you think Amway is the only opportunity in the world to become financially independent and wealthy, that's a lie. There's more than just Amway. I'm not promoting anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying it's not the only thing out there in the world as a whole to become financially independent. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. But for some reason, they push this heavily through Amway that, hey, this is the only opportunity to become wealthy. So they really push that. And so that's just a lie that I want to break down, a stronghold that I want to break down, that is a lie. It's one thing to say, hey, this is the number one opportunity in the world. Fine, yeah, I can understand that, where people can say that, about whatever they're in or part of, involved in, but they will say claims that, hey, this is the only opportunity ever to become wealthy. It's just, that's a lie I wanted to break down as well. So if you're in it, they're going to tell you that as well, and you're going to get preached that, and you're going to get indoctrinated into that as well. It really is a huge indoctrinating system. The reason why I call it a matrix is because of that. It's They're going to really push this as being, the only opportunity in the world to become wealthy, the number one opportunity to become wealthy. That's indoctrination. That is a complete definition of indoctrination. They're trying to indoctrinate you, program you, and, on top of that, they're going to, from day one, when you sit down with them, meet them for the first time, they're going to say, hey, we're willing to sit down with you, look you eye to eye, and tell you how this works. Are you going to trust us or trust your mom or trust your family? Or are you going to trust us or trust the internet of what you find from doing your own research? Because I will tell you this, if you ever get recruited by an Amway recruiter, person, whatever, they will encourage you not to do your own research. I'm being serious. It's not like, hey, when you get into this process, they're saying, hey, do your best to learn, about what we do in this process, but also do your best to do your own research. And, whatever you find, bring it up to us and we'll go over it. No, they don't encourage that. They actually say, no, the internet is the bathroom wall society. Everyone has an agenda. It's either someone promoting their own, multi-level marketing opportunity or someone that's a loser, whatever, right? So they don't even encourage you to do that. They actually discourage you to not do your research, to not think for yourself. They tell you only listen to us. Trust us because we're willing to teach you about what we do, but only listen to us. That's a red flag. That's manipulation. What are you trying to hide? I would respect you more if you could at least be like, hey, do your own research, and then bring it up later if you have any questions. On top of that, learn from what we're teaching you, the audios that we're giving you, the books that we're giving you, but then also, do your own research and do your own learning. And, if you have any questions about anything, bring it up and we'll talk about it. But no, they don't encourage that. They say, no, just listen to us, listen to what we give you, read what we give you, and that's it. So, and I'm being honest with you, that's how it works if you get into this process. They're going to encourage you not to do your own research. That's the truth. That's also a red flag where they're really trying to hide what's going on, because you have voices like me speaking out. You have, on top of that, so much research on Amway, so much statistics on Amway, that they want to keep that under wraps and not have you see the truth. But this is what this show is for. It's to free the minds that have been enslaved and indoctrinated, because when you get indoctrinated into the system, you will be programmed to not do your own research from day one, and you will be programmed to be biased and to not look at information with an open mind and do your own research to find out the truth. Because the difference with me and the difference with them, if you're an Amway, is that I'm telling you, hey, with what I'm telling you in this show, I'm telling you right now too, do your own research, and find out the truth for yourself. If you don't believe me, that's fine. But at least come to your own conclusion off of your own research. So check what I'm saying. Don't believe what I'm saying. Check what I'm saying. If you don't believe me, you think I'm full of shit, fine. But at least it was through your own conclusion, through your own research, versus just trusting your upline wholeheartedly. They can't do wrong. They would never lie to me, whatever. I'm going to just go off of what they tell me and be biased and not even take a look at, other perspectives, other information that's out there, and decipher that on my own. I'm only going to, look at the things that they only give me. My people that recruited me, that they only give me. That's their books, their audios, whatever. But I'm not going to go online and with an open mind and see, hey, let me do some research on my own. You know what I mean? Where I'm telling you, hey, do your own research from what I'm telling you, and then also, do your research on what they give you, what your upline, what your people that recruited to give you. Look at everything. I'm telling you to look at everything, and look at what I'm saying. Look at what they're saying, and then come to your own conclusion and think for yourself. That's what I encourage. But they don't encourage that on the other side. They're going to say, hey, listen to us only. I would know because I was in it for 6 years, so I know the game plan. I know what they're going to tell you and what the mindset is and what the environment is. Like I said, again, this is Unplug. I'm going to unplug all of these lies and fallacies that they do and the indoctrination that they do. So that's one of them, where they don't want you doing research. It's the number one opportunity in the world. The only one out there, only one you're going to find. So there's that, and then I also wanted to dive into the topic of doublespeak. It's basically how you can use words to manipulate, where like intentionally you're trying to manipulate, but like you can use the English language in a way where it's coming off of where you're not trying to manipulate when you actually are intentionally and internally. That's what doublespeak is. It's trying to be deceitful without coming off as being deceitful. That's what doublespeak is. It's not just in multi-level marketing. It's everywhere, as far as just how things are promoted out there in the world for anything, in business in particular. Like for example, sugar. For example, it could say certain products could say sugar-free, but like that doesn't mean like there's like no sugar in it. It just means that there's no cane sugar. But sugar-free doesn't mean that there's no like sugar at all as a whole. It just means there's no cane sugar. What they don't tell you when it comes to that is that there's like these other chemical sugars out there that are in them, but it's not cane sugar. It's a different kind of sugar, but there's still sugar in it, if that makes sense. So like, for example, when you see like a sugar-free product, it doesn't mean that there's no sugar in it. It just means there's no cane sugar in it. It doesn't mean that there's no sugar as a whole in it. That's an example of doublespeak, where you're, in a way, you're saying it without saying it. And this is everywhere in business, but this is also particular in multi-level marketing. It's also in particular in Amway, where we really use words to manipulate people and to manipulate the minds of people. For example, multi-level marketing is an Orwellian term, if you think about it. Just because, like I said again, multi-level, you're thinking that there's multiple levels, multiple ways of promotion, when there's not. It's all just pin markers of where you're at, PV-wise, number of people that are recruited wise, and then marketing. There's no external market. You're the market if you're in it, if you're a distributor, and that means there's actually no real market. It's just people that are just in the system, in the corporation, as distributors or sole proprietors that are buying the products from the company, and then all that money is just flowing up to the top recruiters, the top distributors, the top sole proprietors, right? So that's a Orwellian term. It's manipulation, and it's a way where it stops you thinking, and it makes you think something else. So it's a way to to confuse the mind and not think, and it's a way to ignore your own eyes, so to speak, because it really is a scam. But like when they throw in the terms, Amway is a business, Amway is a multi-level marketing company, which is an Orwellian term, multi-level marketing. Doublespeak. It's ways to make the brain not think what it would normally would see and think, as far as what your eyes are seeing. Because really, if you see the compensation plan of Amway and everything, it's a scam. But like your mind's not going to be able to process that, because they're telling you it's a business, it's multi-level marketing, and all these things. So that's doublespeak. Also, like they're very, very particular in words. So like the people in Amway know what I'm talking about when I say they're very particular in words. So like when it comes to when we go out and prospect to people, we have to be careful what we say. So if I go to a local target and I go out prospecting to get people in my business, I have to be careful with what I say. I can't say, hey, are you interested in making some side income or something on the side of what you're doing now currently, because interested would make them think that, they're in control, and I have to sell myself and my opportunity to you, which I am, but I can flip it with double speak and make it in a way where, I have to make the prospect sell themselves to me. So what we would say is that, hey man, are you the kind of person that keeps himself open or keeps herself open to opportunities if they ever arise? And if that person says yes, then it's like, okay, I can't promise anything, but if I were to maybe set up a time, or if I were to able to put in a good word for you to my mentors that are coaching me, is that something that you would value? And then if they say yes again, you ask another question. Okay, if I were to do that, would you take that seriously? Would you value that? And they say yes again. Okay, sure. Exchange numbers. But notice how I said, is it something that you would value? Do you keep your options open to opportunities? Notice how I'm very careful what I say when I'm doing that pitch. I'm not saying, are you interested? I'm saying, do you keep your options open? You know what I mean? I can't promise anything, but I'll check and see if I can get you connected with my mentors. Because the pitch was, I'm working with some entrepreneurs that were able to build an asset on the side of, along with working at their jobs, and actually they were able to retire in their mid-30s. Or I'm working with some entrepreneurs that were able to build some passive income and actually make double of what they make at their jobs currently, what they're working right now. And they're teaching me how to do the same thing. They're teaching me how to build an asset, passive income. You know what I mean? So it's, notice how that's the pitch, and then I'm saying, hey, later on after that, hey man, do you keep your options open to opportunities if they ever arise? You know what I mean? Then I kind of lead into, okay, I can check and see what I can do. I can't make any promises, but I can check and see. But would you take that seriously if I did check and see if I can, get you connected with them? You know what I mean? So it's different versus like, hey, are you interested in making a side income? You know what I mean? So we're very careful with the words, with how we speak when we're trying to prospect people, trying to recruit people. That's double speak. Even with the system, when I mentioned in episode 1 how, or in episode 2, I mentioned how we changed our interview process, our recruiting process. So I'm going to explain why you'll hear me say, so-called vetting process or recruiting process. Honestly, all of it is just recruiting. But they really, really try to get it in everyone's heads, including mine, that was in the business, that, hey, this is not recruiting anymore. This is a vetting process. This is an interview process. The people that you're putting into the process are trying to sell themselves to you. You're not trying to sell this opportunity to them, because this is the number one opportunity in the world. This is the only opportunity to become financially independent. So they have to sell themselves to you, not the other way around. So we're drilled that, hey, it's not recruiting, it's vetting. It's not a recruiting process, it's a vetting process. It's a selection process. We're the ones choosing. They're selling themselves to us, not the other way around. Notice that's double speak with recruiting. Now it's vetting. Now it's interviewing. Soliciting? No, it's vetting. But really all we're doing is the same thing. It's all recruiting, it's all soliciting, because we're coached. We're coached to, if we want to build our business, we're coached to go out and have conversations within our lives. So, for example, any opportunity that we have to meet people, take it. So for example, you go to the gym 5 days a week, take advantage of that. Start a conversation with people that go to that gym, and share this opportunity with them by doing your pitch. And they don't even like saying the word pitch. That's another example of double speak. They say share your story. Hey, I got connected with such and such that built their own asset, retired at this young age, whatever. And then see their response after you say that, and then let the conversation continue. Ask them a question, see where they're at, and then, hey, do you keep your options open to any opportunities if they ever arise? So you live your life and you're trying to prospect people, but it gets to a point where, for example, if you're like me that only goes grocery shopping once a week, now you're going to the grocery store every day, and like majority of the time you're not buying anything, you're just there to meet people. And fortunately no one notices that, but that's why you're there. And you're there just trying to spear hunt people, and then they don't even like you saying spear hunt. You're trying to meet people, but really you're only there just to meet people. It's what it is. It is spear hunting. But notice how I said again, it's double speak. So we were really programmed to check our words, check our thoughts. Hey, it's not spear hunting, it's not recruiting. We're having conversations. We're just living our life, and we're meeting people. But really, you have an agenda. You're going to these stores. You don't need to buy anything. You're out there recruiting, but you're just telling yourself in your mind, it's vetting, right? Because you're programmed to think it's vetting, interviewing, prospecting. This is all just examples of double speak, where they're using words to manipulate not only the distributors, but also like the prospects too, of what actually is going on here. Now the prospects thinking that, I need to sell myself to this guy, when really we're trying to sell this opportunity, but then we're using double speak to manipulate, and now we flipped it. And now even ourselves as IBOs, independent business owners, and really we're not business owners because, as I said before, again, we're all losing money, majority of us, right? But still, double speak again, but as IBOs, we're thinking, hey, now they need to sell this to us. And then we also have to think, hey, wait a minute, this isn't a recruiting process. This is a vetting process, a selection process. So this is all double speak. And it's used to manipulate and to really not have our minds process of what we're seeing and what we're experiencing through this whole thing. And this is on both sides. This is both a prospect and then also the one that's actually in it. It's just the manipulation of words. That's why, if you're in Amway, I'm talking about, we're very careful with words, what we say to people, and we're very careful with what we say to ourselves. We're like, hey, we're not out here at Walmart recruiting. We're vetting. We're prospecting. So stuff like that. And even if you try and justify, hey, I'm gonna divide my groceries up, from once a week. Now I'm gonna just do it 7 days a week, where I'm just gonna grab one item a day, and it's gonna accumulate to my groceries for the week. But even if you do that and try and justify being out there every day, you're still out there. Even if you're just getting a loaf of bread, you're still out there trying to solicit people. You're not just going into that store, getting a loaf of bread and leaving. You're going there because you know that you need to meet people. And so you're getting a loaf of bread, and then at the same time, you're trying to talk to people. Not genuinely, but just to see, hey, are they a good fit for my business? But you're out there to prospect. So that's an example of double speak. So I'm gonna list this source here. So double speak, it's actually a book by William Lutz. William, it's William, and then his last name is Lutz, and he has a book called Double Speak. It goes over just how in general, not he doesn't talk about MLM, he just talks about how in general in business, in the world, how double speak is used to manipulate people, without coming off as manipulation. And then also I'm going to use this section now to sort my source, or to cite my sources. I'll cite this source here. Look up the interview by CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla interviewed Robert Fitzpatrick. It's on YouTube. Just put that in the search bar, you'll find it. This is actually the first video that I found after a few months after I left Amway, with my story where I said, it was spiritual reasons why I left initially. Later on, I would find out that Amway is a scam. This is how I first found out. It was because of Robert Fitzpatrick in this interview, because this is where Robert Fitzpatrick goes over the history of Amway, how it started, and how they were able to, sustain themselves and not get shut down by the FTC as a pyramid scheme, and through political influence be able to survive and have all these credentials now. But really, it's all this political influence, as far as sponsorships, political sponsorships, presidents sponsoring it, everything, celebrity endorsements, all that stuff, as Amway would like to call as credibility, as being a credible business. But really, it's all this political influence, corruption of how Amway was able to survive and have all these things now. So he dives deep into that, and the case in 1979 that I mentioned in the last episode, he dives into that as well too, of how that all transpired and how Amway was able to get away with not being shut down as a pyramid scheme. So if you've ever wondered why Amway is not shut down as a pyramid scheme, and why, all these other companies that are in the same industry as Amway, which is called network marketing or multi-marketing, how they were to survive, it's in this video how he explains how they're all able to sustain themselves. If you're ever curious about that, so that's a very important one to look up. And then he has a book, Robert Fitzpatrick. I'll say his name again, Robert Fitzpatrick. He has a book called Ponzi-nomics, and that's the history of Nutrilite, of how that started, and then how Rich and Jay, the owners of Amway, were in Nutrilite, and then took their teams and built their own company called Amway, and then later on bought Nutrilite. But then it also talks about, multi-marketing as a whole, how Amway has sustained themselves, and just how it goes over just the big lie of how, multi-marketing is a business when it's not a business. And it's like the Bible of network marketing, and how this industry came to be, and of how Amway came to be, and has still survived to this day. That's a really good book. It's called Ponzi-nomics. I recommend reading that. Let's see. I recommend looking up a YouTube channel called Zay and Melody, ZE, and then that's the guy, ZE, that's his name, and then his wife is Melody, Melody. They have a video, if you just type Zay and Melody and then type alt Amway slavery, it talks about how they just indoctrinate you into thinking that it's a real business, and it's not, and just the tactics that they use, and how really your upline really is like your slave master in a way, as far as how they control you and control your mind. Then there's another video out there on YouTube called How Two Families Shaped American Politics. It's by a YouTube channel called How History Works. Just search that, and that explains more about how, the Van Andel family and the DeVos family have been able to sustain Amway for years, and avoid getting shut down. That's very important. There's another book out there called Merchants of Deception by Eric Scheibler. He's basically a whistleblower. I'll spell his name. First name ERIC, last name is SCH, So that book was written in 2004. It's called Merchants of Deception. So that when he just talks about his experience being an Amway, he actually got to a pretty big high level in Amway. I think he went Emerald. He reveals a lot of secrets there. He's a whistleblower. Recommend reading that one. And then I would go to the website pyramidschemealert.org. That's actually ran by Robert Fitzpatrick, the one I mentioned before, who was interviewed by CoffeeZilla and wrote the book Ponzinomics. That's a book of how to track down pyramid schemes and to know the characteristics of a pyramid scheme and to find out if you've been recruited in one or not, and look up the characteristics of what a pyramid scheme is. So that's what I would recommend as sources. I would recommend looking at those things with open mind, and if you're in it, I would say, really be honest with yourself. Forget the tool side of things and just focus on Amway for a second. Are you actually making more money going into your Amway site per month, or is it there's more money going in towards your Amway site, which is your ditto, versus what you're making? For example, I was putting in $1,000 a month, making $300 a month out of that, so a third of that. That's an example. So if you're like me, you really got to be honest with yourself. Are you one of those people that are losing money? Are you at a financial loss? And look at your upline. Look at the people that are actually succeeding in this. It's a small fraction, isn't it? It's a system where you're designed to fail. It's not what they say it is, where it's you. You're the reason why you're stuck. You're the reason why you're not making any money. It's because you're in a fixed system where it's designed for a majority of people to lose money in order for the minority people to gain money. That's what it is. That's the lies. That I want to go over, and Amway being a pyramid scheme. But that's the red pill for the Amway side of things. But there's actually more. If you're pissed off like I was and still am about finding out that Amway is a scam and thinking that it wasn't for years or months or however long you've been in it, there's more. Now we're diving into the tools business, specifically LTD. If you thought that you're mad, now just wait till we get to the tool side of things. You are going to be even more pissed off. So I'll end off saying that Amway and LTD are two separate things. Amway is just supply based, where it's just supplies, which is just your basic commodities. That's the supplies. Your lotion, protein bars, supplements, vitamins, energy drinks, stuff like that. Just supplies of basic commodities. LTD is a separate entity, separate business. It has different leadership, different ownership. It's by people that are Amway distributors that have built their own tools business, where those tools are just, conferences, podcast episodes to help you teach you how to build your own Amway website, PV, and team. So now we have left the Amway supply base sort of side of things, and now we're diving into the other side of things, the other establishment, which is now LTD, the tool side of things. We're going to dive into that. That'll be part one of LTD, if there needs to be more than a part one of how LTD has came to be and how it has sustained itself for years. So we'll dive into that next. I'm your host, TJ Misumi, and we'll catch you in the next episode.